Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing? Hopefully pretty good. Hope you guys are doing well this morning. Anywho's, sorry that I haven't been on for the past couple days. Obviously, I wasn't on Monday because market wasn't open, but I hadn't been on the few days before that. I was having some issues with my streaming. We took the camera off the desk and did a video, brought it back, and then it was getting a double echo, and I was having a really tough time figuring out why it was doing that. Somehow I was picking up the audio from this mic and my camera mic simultaneously, so it was messing everything up. So until I figured it, I couldn't come back online for you guys. So the stream should be coming through okay, and the sound should be coming through okay. So you guys let me know if this sound is coming through okay before we continue. I hope there's no loud screeching noises. All good? All right, good stuff. All right, so the first stock on my watch list, let me get into screen share, that I like here this morning would be probably eBay. eBay is one of them that I do like here this morning. So let me pull it up for you guys. So eBay, as you guys can see here, this morning is gapping up. Now, eBay typically has about an average true range of 75 cents. So considering it moved from 30 to 35, it had moved more than its average true range by about 4 times this morning. So what I'm getting at is, so far this morning, eBay has been pretty volatile in regards to how volatile it usually is. So with this gap up, this creates opportunity because it's volatile. It's created a volatile move, which means there's a lot of range, okay? So we're going to be following eBay today. Since this gap up, there seems to be some news here about Elliott management, blah, 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 should help eBay grow. So there is some positive news that has hit the wire on eBay this morning. So I would make sure to check the news on eBay before diving into the stock, just so you have an idea as far as what the news is looking like this morning. From a 180-day or a yearly chart, you can see here that eBay has pushed up all the way into all these red lines on my chart. All these red lines are just there to signify the sellers. This 36 to 34, 36, 35 area is all sellers on eBay. And how do I know? Because, well, just look at the stock, right? Stock's downtrending, and this is its most structured area of resistance. So this is where the sellers are at. So we had this big move on eBay up into this level, which means if I were a short seller or if I had been long biased on the stock and swing trading it, I'd probably look to start selling in this area. So today, we're going to be keeping eBay on watch for a short trade off of somewhere around this 34 level. I'm not in short right now, and if it keeps downtrending, it is what it is. But we're going to be following this for a short play today, and possibly even a long. I just find it hard to believe that we'll see eBay move higher off these levels, considering it's already had a really good move in itself. I think we're going to see eBay pull back off these levels. So we're going to be following eBay closely this morning for a short position. What's going on, Andrew? What's going on, Javier, Geo, Cold Signals? What's going on, guys? I know for a fact that notifications have not gone out this morning from YouTube, as we have not as many people viewing this morning, which is fine. But I just know that typically we have more people viewing, more comments going on. What's going on, Mark? So I know the notifications aren't going out so well. It's just, honestly, I wonder why a multi-million-dollar company can't figure out how to get their notification service to work accurately. Kind of impeccable. Anywho, let's go to the next stock. Next stock on our list, I will do STAF. What's going on, Russell? What's going on, Marquito Ranieri? Anyways, this is the only penny stock. All right, this is the only penny stock this morning that I am watching, okay? Yeah, they always send, Joe, they always send them out slow, or some people get them later. I never quite understand how YouTube does their thing. Yeah, it every once in a while their notifications get all weird. So the only penny stock that I'm focusing on or have some, potential confidence in would be STAF, which is on the chart here. Now, I know you probably can't see too many fine details with how zoomed out I am, so just try and bear with me here. But you see back over when STAF had its really big move, really the one move that went all the way up to $6. Well, we went up to $6, and then you can see the stock spiked up to about $3.50, came down, spiked up to about $3.50, came down, spiked up to about $3.50, came down. Now when you look at STAF, it spiked to about $3.50, it's starting to sell off. But the only difference between these spikes and these spikes is that the spike we're on right now with STAF is much more bullish than the previous 3 spikes we had, other than obviously the really, really big one. And the reason being is watch my I don't know, let me try a yearly chart, might look a little better. Let's go back to 180. All right, so I'm going to zoom in here, and then I'll zoom in at the other area. So look at the difference here. So we have this big spike on STAF. Then what happens? The stock comes down, and we're downtrending, 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 spike. Sell off. Downtrending, 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 spike. Sell off. Downtrending, spike. Sell off. Okay? Come and fast forward, and we are downtrending, 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 spike. Sells off. Bounce. Up. Bounce, higher low, up, pull back, holds, higher low, shoots up, pulls back, higher low, spike. So we have been uptrending into this spike. In comparison to the last multiple, we've been downtrending into the spike. So downtrend to spike versus uptrend to spike. This is a more bullish setup than on the previous couple times we've seen the stock spike. So sentiment-wise, you should be a little bit more bullish on this setup than you would have been on the previous ones. Does this mean STAF is going to go to the moon? Not necessarily. If you're someone who likes to linger and hang out on StockTwits, then STAF is most likely going to go to the moon. As we all know, anybody on StockTwits thinks that everything's going to the moon. All right, so is it going to go to the moon? It could, okay? The only way I'll really get very interested, or I'm going to be really interested in long on STAF, is if it could get over 350. 350 is that resistance from the previous 3, arguably 4, maybe 5 spikes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 350 is that resistance. So if STAF can get over 350, then I could see it being good for a long. This morning pre-market, it has okay volume. It's not great, but it's not selling off. We've popped up, we've pulled back. We pushed up, we've pulled back. And now we're just consolidating the volume weighted average price. We're not really squeezing up. We're not really dropping out. This is starting a consolidation. Fast forward to market open, if it stays like this without dumping out, we could have a bullish stock in our hands with a nice move over 350. So I'm not necessarily going to buy it if it breaks over 350. I actually might buy it before it gets to 350, anticipating a break at 350. It just all depends on how the stock looks or how it's setting up come market open, and you get the point. So STAF, only real penny stock I'm watching this morning. And there might be some other penny stock that started moving, but since I got on, this is the only one that I've been able to wrap my head around and say, you know what, this might have a good day. Well, if this is your first time catching me live, awesome. Glad to have you, and I'm glad you're here, my man. All right. Next stock on my watch list is going to be ARNC. That is an A. That's ARNC. All right. ARNC. Now, if you asked me, am I crazy about ARNC? If I had one stock to trade all day long, every day, would it be ARNC? And the answer is no. I would never, or on any given day, I would never be trading this stock. So why is it that I would be trading it today? Well, I don't know. If you take a wild guess, you'll see that this thing dumped from $20, actually closer to $20.50, all the way down to a low of $14.84 today. That is a really big move to go from 20 to basically 15, $5 per share pre-market. The total value of your stock is 20. You lose $5 a share. You just lost 25% of your share value in 2 minutes pre-market today. That's the kind of move that creates for volatility. That's the kind of move that starts to bring in retail traders. That's the kind of move where people are like, what the hell's going on? This is the same situation as eBay. eBay popped $4 or $5 a share. Like, that brings in attention. So I know there's people watching ARNC. The news is negative, and I want to see what this does come market open. All right. So I'm going to be following this both long and short. At this current moment, with the way it's dropped and consolidated sideways, I'm more short bias on it. I will only become long bias if the first short or the short selling or the selling, any selling, fails on ARNC at market open. If at market open we try to push lower, we fail going lower, we pop up, we create a higher high or a higher low, things turn bullish, then yeah, at that point I might watch it long and there might be some retracement of this downward move. If we start pushing lower, we cannot recover, it wants to keep going lower, then yeah, I'll probably be looking at shorting the stock today. France fines Google 57 million. I mean, yeah, 57 million's a lot of money, but when you think about Google as a whole, honestly, that's not something I would short into. I mean, yeah, there might be a downward move or a down play on Google. Sure, probably some money to be made, but if you're like, hey, Google just got fined $57 million from France. Should I short this company because they're going to lose 50% of their value or they're going to go out of business? No, right? That little $57 million to Google is nothing, okay? They'll pay it off. It'll be like nothing ever happened, right? Google's going nowhere. Google owns you. Google is a part of everyone. Google runs the world. 25 years from now, Google will be it. Possibly even Amazon, So Google, it wouldn't surprise me if Google takes over the world and kills us all, honestly. At one point, maybe not my lifetime, but Google is going to go nowhere. Google is in your home. Google is on your computer. When I go to the internet just to go to a website, I find myself typing Google in just to search the website. That is how strongly instilled Google is in my brain. From elementary school, middle school, high school, college, trading, everything I've ever done in my life and learned, a lot has come from Google. So this $57 million fine, do you really want to short Google now? Or is Google a buying opportunity after that sell-off? That's where you got to be asking yourself. So that little $57 million fine to me, that's a little mosquito bite. I don't really think it's anything to get too crazy about. Now, I haven't read the news. I don't know what the situation is, but in Google as a whole, 57 million is like nothing. Yeah. Absolutely. Now, being fined 570 million is a little bit different story. Anybody asking about MBOT, you should be short bias on it until it gets down to about $4. The S&P, so S&P 500, guys, let me pull it up 1 second. So before we go further here, before we go on and start talking about dogs and kittens and arts and crafts projects that we have coming up in the future, let's recap these 3 stocks. So 3 stocks, for those of you who turned on late, there's 3 stocks I'm going to watch today. They've changed, right? I made a YouTube video yesterday about the 3 stocks that I'll be keeping on watch. Still watching those, but this is the pre-market. Like that was an after hours, hey, I'm watching these this week, but this morning what I'm watching is another 3 stocks. STAF, it's a penny stock, ideally over the $3.50 range. ARNC, it's a stock that received some negative news because they are no longer pursuing the purchase of another company in which investors in ARNC were really looking forward to. So once the investors and the news broke that ARNC would no longer be pursuing the purchase of another company, their stock has now dropped 25%, following that for a short. Next one on the list is eBay. eBay gapped up about $5 a share on some, if you ask me, kind of fluff news. Doesn't really matter, but they gapped up $5, creating volatility. That's another one on the watch list we'll be watching short. So at this moment, there really is only one potential long on my watch list, and that's the penny stock STAF. All right. Moving forward onto the SPY. 1 second here. Whoa. So Reed, I never finished college actually. I never fully got my degree. I would have been going for business management, or that was what I first looked into, was business and management, and then I started kind of changing the degree towards finance, and then, I'll get back to the stocks. This is actually a good story. This is a good story. I think I was sitting in my accounting class, like accounting, I don't remember if it was accounting 1 or accounting 2. I was sitting in an accounting class, and I remember looking at my phone. I was watching the stock market, and I'm just like, dude, why am I even here? Like, I already make good money. I'm like, should I really finish this degree and go work for somebody else? And I already make the amount of money I would be making at that job. I'm like, I shouldn't be here. I already know I shouldn't be here. So I looked over at this girl next to me. I looked over at my classmate. She was sitting next to me. And I asked her, I said, if you were making the money you would be like, if you were making X amount of dollars right now, would you be in this class? And she goes, hell no. I'm like, all right, I'm out. And I grabbed my books and I walked out of class, and I never returned to college. And here I am. Cheers. All right, so now that that's been covered, let me actually pull up. I have this on my chart, or is it that chart I'm streaming? That must be the chart I'm streaming. All right, let's look at the SPY here. We got a couple minutes till 9 o'clock, so we still got a few minutes here, guys. So we're gonna look at the market. So the market's gapping down, right? Who cares? What's it really matter? This gap down, everyone's like, oh yeah, you gotta short the market, short the market. Everyone's freaking out. They're gonna miss the move, and everyone's thinking, oh, this is the time, right? Again, I've been sitting back pretty patient this whole time, just kind of watching, kind of waiting, and now the market's gapping down. So let me help you understand what's going on. Okay, the market today, if you see it, that just sounds stupid, but looking at the market today, this is the first real gap down in the market that we've had 2 weeks, 3 weeks, arguably, somewhere around there. This is the first real gap down we've had. So today is the first day where the long bias traders are like, ooh, that's our first big gap down. And the short traders are like, or sellers like, oh, like are we going to resume back to our downtrend? And right now is the point at which it would make the most sense for it to start coming back into that downtrend, or start to at least see a fight back down. If you look at the price action here, where we're at, like, the SPY or the S&P reached like 267, 268, and that's really when you get up to that big structured sell-off. So we're starting to see some resistance. What I would do is I would watch the market, and I would watch it initially long to fill the gap. Basically, what I would do is I wouldn't be getting in short or long on the market or this or that until this moves back up and fills this gap in the chart. The stock market has been notorious for filling its gaps recently. I do fear that this is one of those situations where we might not see a gap fill, and this might just kick into a downtrend. You have to be, you have to be the judge of that. If you want to trade it before it fills the gap, or if you don't think it's going to fill the gap today and it's just going to start going down, trade it as you may, but I'm not in any rush to make any money. I'm not in any rush here, right? To trade. I'm not in any rush to make or lose money, right? Even today or tomorrow. So, again, I'll be patient with it. I think the market will probably put up a fight back to the upside. And then if the sellers are strong enough to beat it down again, then tomorrow we might start gapping down and kicking into a bigger move. Okay. So the market right now, we do have a gap down. We've been on a steady uptrend. We're finally reaching the big structured sell point in the stock market, which means we should start seeing some sellers come in. Whether or not they're strong enough to kick us back into a really fast, aggressive downward move is the million-dollar question. But what we do know is we have a gap down today, and that is the first sign that we're having some sentiment change in this bullish move that we have seen. So this is somewhat of a good sign, okay? So granted, we'll see what happens. So Trav, and that's another thing, guys. So I knew I would get a lot of questions about AMD, and as I stated in the video, AMD, Square, not really Cron, but AMD and Square. What was one of the so this is really for you guys, not for me to say, oh, see, if it did this and then I wasn't wrong. I don't care if I'm wrong or right at this point in my day, because either way I'll still win and lose money whether or not I'm right or wrong on a stock, right? Doesn't matter if I'm right or wrong on my prediction. Either way, if I trade it, I'm winning or losing money one way or the other. Okay? This is most importantly for you guys to know. What was something that I emphasized for those of you that watched the video last night where I covered AMD, Cron, and brain fart, Square, SQ? What was one of the main things that I kept saying that was super important about these two stocks that you have to watch for, okay, in order for them to stay bullish or trade? And I'll be looking for that answer. Nope, not wait for the pullback. Well, maybe. You might be thinking what I'm thinking, honestly, but I don't know. So what was the most important thing I kept saying about those two stocks? Don't forget it. Exactly. You have got to see what the market's doing, okay? Time and time again, you can make an analysis. Time and time again, a stock could be so bullish. It could be the most beautiful setup you have ever seen. It could look like your wildest dreams are about to come true, and then all of a sudden, you're like, what? I'm wrong. It was the most perfect setup. So when trading a larger cap stock, AMD, Nvidia, Micron, not really Tesla. Tesla does whatever it wants to do, but you get the point. All those bigger stocks, very closely tied into what the overall market does, okay? Those are stocks that become market dependent, okay? If you are dependent on something, that means you rely on something. And what you rely on, if what you rely on is not there to help you, you are not going to do so well. So when AMD and Square and Netflix and Microsoft and all these other stocks, when they are market dependent, they rely on the market to an extent. If your market isn't doing well, your stocks that rely on your market to do well are most likely not going to do well. So it's extremely important that whenever you're trading a stock that basically is just more expensive, right? Or larger cap, you need to keep an eye on the market, because what's happening today? The market's gapping down, right? If the market's gapping down and you go look at a bunch of different stocks and they're all gapping down, what does that tell you? It tells you those stocks are closely related and tied enough to the overall market that the gap down in the overall market is causing a gap down in these stocks overnight. So if we go look at AMD and Square, I don't even have to look. I didn't even have to look at the stocks this morning to know that my analysis was completely wrong after this morning, right? Not really wrong, but they're probably not going to move higher like I would like because the market's gapping down, right? So if we go look at AMD right now, what is AMD doing? Oh, AMD's gapping down. Okay, what's Square doing? Oh, Square is gapping down. Like, that's a no-brainer. It was obvious, right? Market's having a sell-off, and these are all starting to gap down. And so that is one of the most important things, is you have to pay attention to the market, because that's what's going to give you that extra edge, right? Now think about it like this. Why do some newer traders maybe have trouble trading? Let's put it into perspective, a situation that I know for sure people would run into. Somebody comes to my YouTube channel. They watch one of my videos. And I go, hey, watch AMD and watch Square long tomorrow or this week. Okay? And in the video, I specifically say, these are two stocks that are market dependent, so you have to make sure you know exactly what's going on in the market to correctly trade these two stocks. If the market turns bearish, these will turn bearish and will no longer be long plays. And if you're newer and don't even know what the market is, or you know that the market means the stock market, but you don't know you should be looking at the Dow Jones, the Russell 2000, the NASDAQ, or the S&P 500, then you could just come in and buy these two stocks, AMD and Square, with no understanding of the market and no recollection of what and how these stocks are affected when the market does what it does. You would come in and buy these two stocks, and then you go, oh, see, this guy has no clue he's talking about. Or when you join a trading service, right, and we're like, hey, watch these too long. If you don't have that background, understanding, education, and knowledge to put in the mix of your trading, you're going to consistently lose money, because your stock could go from long to short in a snap of your fingers. And that is why it becomes such a challenge for traders, because you just it's like reading a book by the cover. When you go and read a book by the cover, you don't know shit about the book. If you try and tell me a bedtime story after reading the front cover, it's not going to work. It doesn't make any sense. You cannot know that unless you've already read the book. Just like trading, you can't just take a glimpse and look at a stock and go, that's what it's going to do. No, there's way more to it than that. There's a lot more behind the story than just looking at the share price of stock in a chart, right? And that kind of ties into the whole why people also have trouble trading, right? Oh, so enough of my spiel, but I'm sure someone learned something from that this morning, so that's the most important part. Anywho, ladies and gentlemen, that was fun. By the way, as you guys seen in one of my videos, I did buy a mystery pallet of 25 computer monitors. I still have to set up the shipping, but there will be some giveaways. We are going to do some giveaways for some people on YouTube. I already know how I plan on doing it. It's actually going to be probably not really a giveaway, more or less probably a free-for-all, because I'm a crazy man and I love to see people free-for-all for computer monitors. So anyways, I bought 25 monitors. I'm going to get the shipping done here today. It's going to come in. We're going to do a video. We're going to unravel it. We're going to test it. We're going to see how many computer monitors actually work, how many cool ones we got, and just kind of see everything that comes about, how many work. We're going to give away, I don't know, maybe 5, maybe 10. I don't really know. I haven't decided. So we're going to try and sell some to get the money back on the project itself. And then whatever's left over, probably going to do some free giveaways. And so stay tuned. I'll let you guys know when that happens. But yeah, that should be pretty fun. Yeah, that's the only thing. It's free up until you guys got to pay for shipping, because there's no way I'm going to buy all these monitors, give them to you guys for free, and then pay for your shipping. I mean, shoot myself in the foot and call me an idiot, why don't you? Come on. All right, I'm not doing that. Ain't going to go that far, but hey. So we'll see. I bought 25 of them, so there's honestly kind of a lot of internet. It's gonna be full. It's gonna be fun. Like when I see the delivery truck show up to my house with a 6-foot tall pallet bigger than me of just computer monitors. Oh, it's gonna be great. Anyways, I gotta get back to trading and actually do something with my life today. So everybody have a good day. I will see you guys all tomorrow morning for another stream, another video. Don't really know, but stay tuned. I'll see you soon.